Attention Earthlings, do not attempt to adjust your dial.
You are about to voyage into the marvelously mystifying.
Join us as we navigate the enigmatic waters of consciousness, delve into the arcane realms of the occult and the paranormal, and converse with captivating beings from across the universe. Prepare
to expand your mind, challenge your perceptions, and journey into the unknown with your guides, Bunnicula and HP Hovercraft.
The frequencies of strangeness await.
Welcome to Dizzy Spell. Dizzy Spell. Dizzy Spell.
Wow.
We're here.
What an incredible intro that we have.
Yeah.
I'm just blown away every time I listen to it. I can't believe the production value.
Beautiful.
The how it echoes and carries away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Shout out to John Childers for the music and Mac for editing that cool thing for us.
Very cool.
We love it.
I like I said, I can't believe it. Can't believe that we're doing this.
So I'm about to say something that's going to blow your mind.
Okay.
After we record today's episode, we're halfway through season 1.
Wow.
Crazy, right?
Wow.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm proud of us.
Is this 4?
This is 5. Yeah.
Oh.
All right. So I do feel like we have to quickly bring up the most important thing, the thing that I've literally lost sleep about, the thing that I cannot stop thinking about.
What is it?
The Drake and Kendrick feud.
Okay.
Again, can't really get into too much. I think what we need to say is this is moving so fast that this episode's not going to come out for 2 weeks. And some big stuff is still continuing to happen.
Yes.
So I don't really think we should talk about it too much. But what I want to say is we're going to have a deep dive about this.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
I think, yeah,
right?
So I get, like, I thought about this a little bit today because we've been talking about it. And I guess that if I like do want to talk about it, and it's okay if this is, like, we're recording this on the May 13th. So let's just establish that. And let's, like, how up are you?
Oh, I'm all
right
up.
Now.
I'm all up.
Like, into the, like, things that I've been seeing today. So it's like, in the last week, I feel like so it's been what, like, a week and a half going on 2 weeks since there's been any, like, songs that came out. But since then it's been like, okay, Kendrick recorded 10 total songs and just has decided that the 4 that he has put out are enough. And he picked and chose whatever he was going to put out based on what Drake was putting out, which does make sense. But Not Like Us is, like, such a hit that he's like, I don't need to fire off the rest of the ones that I have. And then you sent me that, and I did get caught up on it, that, like, Twitter profile that has just been posting things, and I went through all of it, but there's just, like, so much, and it's so, like...
It's a lot.
It's so, like, what is real and what's not, and who is this person? But, like, the gist of it, and correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, but is that whoever is this mysterious Twitter poster is the one that gave Kendrick information and has the stuff that's in the picture on the
it's Meet the Grams cover.
Yes, it was a Meet the Grams cover that has, like, the Ozempic and the jewelry receipts and things like that. So he posted, like, further proof that he does have all those things. And then there's also this aspect where it is, he said directly to Drake in one of the tweets, like, maybe this will jog your memory, and it's a picture of Drake and a disabled person in a wheelchair, like electric wheelchair thing. And he just says, whatever his Degrassi character, he's like, he would not be so proud of you of this. And so everybody's just speculating on, like, what's that all about? And the, like, broader speculation is that he, like, attacked that person, like, in this
Again, I just don't even think this is something that we can talk about right now. Like, because there's so many theories that I could get into right now about what all of that means that I just don't even know.
Yeah.
I just think we need to shake out and see how it shakes out because Christopher Alvarez today, the disabled reporter who is pictured in that footage, finally has sort of broke his silence and said he was going to release some article today that said all will be revealed. That was supposed to happen at 5 p.m. Didn't happen. So things are just, it's just
who knows?
Crazy right now.
Okay, so when all is but when is all gonna be said and done?
Yeah, I think that there's a few things that could happen here. It's going to get crazier or it's going to fizzle out, which is probably more likely because people with money have a lot of power to make these things go away. Whether it's not even so much that they don't get in trouble for them as much as they just gloss over them and provide illusions to distract from them. So I think it's going to go one of two ways. I'm thinking maybe as sort of just like a bonus after our season finale, maybe?
Yeah, that may be a fun thing to really kind of break down,
And of course, I want to bring Matt Worm.
Yeah.
Our homie Matt.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, I think he would have a lot to say about this. We've been sending a lot of messages and keeping each other updated on some stuff. And we're going to have to come back because this is to me,
there's not enough to really it's so speculative right now. Like in the last few days, people are really running with all this. But when it's quiet, it'll be fun to go look at everything and go, here's some random strands and pieces and
for
things.
Sure.
Cool.
Yeah, it's been really interesting. I do think that the thing that really captivates me about this is honestly just seeing the way that the information is proliferating, all of these little things that are getting tied together. And I don't know, I think that this is really sort of part of this overall unveiling that is happening where it's really proving that one, people know more than they're letting on. And, at any moment, you think you've got the wool pulled over people's eyes, but you could go down with the rest of them. It's I think of the death card in the tarot. Death comes for both the pauper and the king, right? So I don't know. Yeah, I'm very curious to see how this is all gonna shake out. But I had to bring it up because I can't stop thinking about it.
Yeah, it's getting weird. It's really getting weird. Internet sleuthy.
And dark. It's getting dark because it's...
How could it have gotten darker?
I know.
Is kind of...
Truly. Yeah, absolutely. So in other news, I watched Alex Garland's Men. I said off air that I thought it was maybe better than... Or I should say I liked it more than Midsommar. That was a very controversial statement to say.
I just don't see, the thing that gives me pause about that is that, why are we comparing them?
Yeah.
I guess, they are, I don't, female empowerment's, the wrong,
but also
completely wrong word, but they're both A24.
But they're also full core. They're both, straight up full core.
Fair.
That's to me it, mostly, I guess.
Sure.
And I was saying, somebody asked, oh, what's another movie I'd like Midsommar? And I'd just seen Men, and I was like, oh, wow, these movies actually are touching a lot on the same ideas in very different ways. But yeah, you're right. We don't have to compare them. You're right. They're both great movies. I love both movies for sure.
I like Midsommar way more.
I'll say this, and I was telling someone this today. I'm not a huge rewatcher of movies. I don't know if I will ever watch either of those movies again, to be honest.
I've seen Midsommar probably 5+ times.
The thing too is with the Ari Aster movies, he does such a good job of putting these cool little creepy hints and clues and subtle things throughout the movies that really they are so worth the rewatch. There's so much I think you can get out of watching them again and again. I've read analysis of Hereditary and Midsommar that are really interesting, but I don't know. They're so brutal.
Got the whole thing it's after the beginning and when they finally are at the festival, there's literally a tapestry that runs by that
tells the story,
spells out the entire movie, and it's just a long part where you're that looks crazy. What is that? And then when you watch it again, you're that's what happens from this point forward.
I love it. So good.
Okay, so on movies, I watched 2 movies since the last time we talked that I really liked a lot. I watched Challengers.
Oh, okay.
much different kind of movie than you would maybe think that it is.
Okay.
Not for the reasons that you are thinking, though. So
I'm really not thinking any. I'm very open
So, the thing that makes this all interesting is last year, I'm going to get her name wrong because I'm so bad at names, but I want to say that it's Brenda Song, something Song.
She's the one married to Macaulay Culkin.
No, that's
Brenda Song.
Okay, Celine Song.
Celine Song.
Wrote and directed Past Lives last year.
Okay, yes.
Nominated for Best Picture. Movie about from her perspective, and it's when she was young, she had like a friend, like a romantic friend when she was young, moved away, reconnected with that friend much later in her life when she was married, and like it's not like necessarily romantic, but it kind of is. It's like implied, but the broader idea is that it's like there is like a 3-person
triangle.
Not love triangle necessarily, because it's implied, but it's not like she doesn't like cheat or whatever explicitly, but that's that. So that's last year. Celine Song is married to a man named Justin Krasitsky.
Okay.
Butchering the name.
It's okay.
This year, and also if anybody, this is a Easter egg to anybody. Have you ever seen the video of the potion seller video on YouTube? It's old, and it's like a man, and it's like he's doing a thing on like the iMac, like with the filter, and he's like, "Potion seller, sell me your strongest potion." Like, you've never seen that? Okay, I'll show it to you, but it's like something that is like deep lore to like high school people that were in high school when I was in high school.
Okay.
That man wrote this movie, Challengers, didn't direct it. Also about a 3-person like love triangle thing. What happened?
Stop.
What happened to these two people that they both independently wrote?
Complicated love
this
tryst.
third person that got in there? So Challengers is about that happening. It's all through the like lens of it being like a tennis movie, and it's like 3 young tennis stars. 2 of them are like these male double tennis players, and then a slightly younger, also like college tennis player played by Zendaya. And
I thought she was their coach.
No.
Oh.
No. See,
I don't know anything.
And it's all like across like 15 years or whatever.
Oh.
So it like starts when they're all like young.
Interesting.
And they like have a weird sort of relationship, and then things happen, and there's time jumps, and it's all like complicated and messy.
I had no idea.
But it's like a lot less like sultry and like overtly sexual than you might imagine. Like it's way more.
It's like athletic ads that are sexy. It's like, sweat dripping, right? It's like a Nike ad.
The distinguishing things that I've seen people say is that it's like horny. Okay. Not like sexy. Like,
interesting. I like that.
But it was great. Like, and it was, and it's again butchering names. Luca Guadagnino, who directed Call Me by Your Name and the Suspiria remake.
He's the one who directed this?
So he directed it.
Oh.
And Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross did the music, and it's just like Boy Harsher the whole time.
Love that.
Like, it's sick.
Ooh.
And it's just like dope. Like there's not sex scenes in it, really.
Good. I don't want to see that with Zendaya for some reason.
There's very like limited nudity, and it's way more like you're just watching a bunch of like crazy tennis playing with like booming like Boy Harsher techno.
That sounds amazing.
And it rocks.
I've heard it's great, yeah.
Especially the last like 15, 20 minutes are like so... It's a crazy movie.
One of the guys in that movie, I don't know what his name, one of the 2 men, was in a movie I saw at Belcourt recently called La Chimera. Did you hear about this movie? It was awesome.
No, I did not.
Super good.
Yeah, okay, so it's, Josh O'Connor, who's also both... I don't know, no, he's not... in Downton Abbey. No, I'm getting confused with my other one.
Oh.
something else that Abby saw that he was in. She was like, he's so different, and he like is, and also, but I've seen him just in interviews and stuff, and he's like such a nerd dork, like in real life, and then he's like this suave, kind of like messy guy. I don't know, it's cool.
What was the other movie you saw?
Abigail. I watched last night.
What is that?
Which is
that about a haunted doll?
No, it's like part of the new, like where Universal was going to do like the Universal Monster movie reboot kind of deal, where they were going to do like, it started with The Mummy with Tom Cruise, and it was supposed to go into like doing all those, and it flopped. So they pivoted, and it's like The Invisible Man and Reinfeld, and now this one are like part of this new...
Renfield?
Yeah.
Wait, Renfield and The Invisible Man with Elizabeth Short are part of the same...
They're not connected, but they're part of like conceptually Universal reinventing their...
Interesting.
Like so that's like
I didn't put that together.
That's
okay.
Dracula and The Invisible Man, and then this is like another...
And there's a Frankenstein.
Part of the same thing. And it's a vampire movie, but... And I'm gonna say that because it's in the commercial... But this movie in like 10 years is going to be so much better like watched and experienced if you did not know that it is a vampire movie going into it.
Okay.
And they like the only like when I was watching it I was like I really wish that I didn't know that what was going to be the thing, but it's in the trailer. But like From Dusk Till Dawn, not to spoil a 30-year-old movie.
Yeah.
But like that movie
you never see it coming. Yeah.
If you don't know that, and they marketed it like that was going to happen. But now that it's so removed from it, you can come across that movie and not know. Yeah. This movie starts as being just a crime drama where it's this like ragtag group of like Ocean's 11 style criminals that are kidnapping they kidnap a child, and it's like, oh, we're going to ransom this to he's a wealthy man, or we're going to ransom off, it's $50 million is the ransom, we're going to split it all amongst us. And they're like, who is this? And then they all start to they're like in this mansion hiding out, waiting for 24 hours for them to respond. And they all slowly start to get...
You're telling me way too much about this movie right now.
This is all in the trailer.
This is too much.
It's all in the trailer. This is the setup for the movie.
Yeah, but... I don't watch trailers for a reason, you know? Like, I don't know. This is too much. I don't want to know. I don't know.
Anyways.
I feel like that was too much.
They all start to get mutilated, and then it's revealed that the child is a vampire. And it goes from there. But that's about it's about an hour into it that it's revealed, and then the rest of then it's like a slasher movie for the last half. And that's all in the trailer. That's what I went in. That's like in the description, everything. But really cool movie. I highly recommend it. Written and directed by the people that did Ready or Not.
That's
very like stylistically similar to that.
Is there anyone I know in it? Who's in it?
The young girl that's in it is in the Matilda musical that was on Netflix recently. That's amazing.
Random.
You should watch.
All right.
And then the main girl, one of the people... I gotta look her up real quick because
it doesn't really matter who's in the movie. I was just curious. It doesn't matter. I'm just trying to have a conversation about it. Okay, so last movie we should definitely talk about that I can't believe I didn't bring up yet is Late Night with the Devil, because we talked about it before I had seen it. Bohemian Grove. We should do a whole episode.
It's like a whole the whole thing about it.
Bohemian Grove is like such a big one from that time period, totally, and was like so big, very involved with like the Kubrick stuff, which a whole episode about Kubrick we could do because of like Toynbee now, the Late Night with the Devil, Moon Landing. There's a million threads you could take there. But yeah, absolutely love Late Night with the Devil. I thought it was really cool. I didn't feel like it
didn't nail what it was trying to do
It
too
didn't
hard.
like absorb me, but it was still very fun.
Like, if you're going to commit to being like a whole, like, this is like, you're just watching a late night show, the behind the scenes part took me out of it because if it's a found thing, why do those exist?
Right.
Why was anybody recording all this stuff they're talking
like
about?
Backstage.
Backstage.
Yeah.
And then also, and this is a complaint that I've seen a lot, is that main guy who's, again, I'm so bad at remembering names.
David
and
Dastmalchian.
he would never have been able to say that ever. He's the only one that does any sort of like 70s voice.
Voice?
Like, the only one that's like, I am in the 70s. Everybody else is kind of like just talking like their normal
voice, or like you mean like vernacular?
I guess.
More like,
but still, just like people talk differently than they like 50 years ago.
I never really thought about that.
Like
but
that's
you're right.
it. Like it just didn't work. And also, but also, you know what's funny is the guy that's like the skeptic, just like the biggest curmudgeon, like worst like party pooper dude in the world.
I know, that was funny.
Great practical effects in that. That's like one of the cooler parts of the whole thing. Yeah. Liked it. Like, you know, not the greatest movie ever, but for doing its thing.
It was fun.
Awesome.
It was a fun movie for sure.
Don't want to waste too much energy like shitting on it at all because I thought that it was good.
Yeah, it was fun. All right, well, let's move on.
That was a big movie. We really watched some movies recently.
Finally, I feel like I've been off the movie train for a while now. So yeah, I get it. Let's just see. Okay, we haven't gotten any new DQs on the Instagram, but let's see.
Pull one from the bag. That's what we get the bag for.
Time for direct queries.
It's time for a DQ, aka a direct query, aka mail from our listeners. This question says, how do we survive the great solar flare apocalypse? Really great question, considering there was a crazy geomagnetic storm this week where I didn't see the Aurora Borealis.
No,
did you?
I didn't either. I didn't even know.
I didn't
and
either.
I was kind of pissed.
I was watching Late Night with the Devil.
I was watching what? Men. Yeah. How come nobody told me?
I know.
And then they're like, it's going to happen again tomorrow. And then I didn't see nothing.
I know. So that was a bummer.
I got nothing to say about that.
But how are you going to survive in the great solar flare apocalypse?
Well, spoilers, I'm going to revert directly to what the Georgia Guidestones tell me to do.
Ooh, okay. Okay.
We'll see.
So there
I think they got some good advice.
Really? Oh, I love this. All right. Well, there you have it.
That's kind of that's kind of like the whole deal.
Okay. So. Okay. That's amazing. I didn't know that. Well, I was going to say, probably find a military surplus store and loot it and bunker down in my house. That's what I would do.
Yeah. Do you have like somebody that you don't know, or do you know somebody that has like a bunker at all?
No, do you?
No.
We're looking. We're in the market for a friend with a bunker. If you guys got
in
one.
Radio days, I would have given the phone number and said, give us a call if you have.
Yep.
Just sort of bunker. But what's that? Yeah, plug our email or
you
Instagram.
can just call us 888-444-DIZZ.
Is that real?
No. That'd be amazing.
We should set up, like, you can set up like a number that we could get messages and texts.
We talked about it because it would be so cool to get our Dizzy queries via voice.
And then we could play them.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. Cool. Well, I will go ahead and say right now, Dizzy Spellians, if you want to send us a DQ via voice, feel free. And you can always email it to us. Our email is info@dizzyspell.show. And you can always send us a voice memo with your Dizzy question. We'll play it on air. And
we'll screen it though first, so don't.
100% gonna screen it first. This is not live radio anymore. Thank goodness for that.
Do you have any cool NUFORC?
I didn't look it up yet, but we can look it up really quick. That was the one thing I did not get to, but that's okay because. Do you want to look up while I'm doing this the date of that bridge collapse? Because last time, remember...
It's been long enough now that maybe...
I think we could figure it out. So I'm going to look up the area, which was Baltimore, Maryland.
Yes.
We talked about this on episode 3, I think, and we said we were going to check back. And the NUFORC, or National UFO Reporting Center website that we like to check out every episode, they separate their things by area, and then you can go in by date and check it out. So what do you got for me? Did you find the date?
Ooh, I misunderstood my task.
That's okay.
I was doing the opposite thing. Let's go.
Loading database.
I found so the bridge collapse happened on March 26th.
Oh.
This was reported on April 5th in New York, not Baltimore. There's none from Baltimore. However, and it's like a relatively normal report.
What date did you say? April
March
what?
26th.
March 26th. Okay.
Cool drawing.
Wait, that's amazing. I love it.
I just like it a lot. I think that it's good. Good to be talking about drawings on our audio podcast.
Yes.
But they put a lot of time and effort into this little drawing.
Also, if you tell them, if you say the sighting report number, then people can look it up later if they want.
This is NUFORC Sighting 181042.
Cool.
It's kind of long. I don't know if I really want to read it.
That's fair.
But I just admire the drawing. That's it.
Okay, so March 26th, I'm looking at ones around Baltimore. It's interesting. I only see one from January 21st, and then I see ones around April 8th. So yeah, it's interesting. No.
Look at the April 8th one, though.
That was the one I looked at that was absolute gibberish.
Whatever.
So, yeah, no, doesn't seem like there's been too much interesting stuff over Maryland lately. That's, I don't know, worth investigating, I guess, worth the research we just did.
Maybe they could, maybe they'll report in the future.
All right. So, yeah, if we're just looking for interesting ones that have come up lately, let's just look at one that happened recently. The most recent one on the NUFORC website as of May 10th. This is when this happened in Westland, Michigan. It said, on my way to work this morning, I glanced straight up and saw what appeared to be an electric arc dancing in the sky, but staying in the same spot. It appeared to be at cloud height and maybe a couple of football fields large. I watched for 5 minutes, took a video and pics, and had to leave for work. The arc was still in the sky when I left. What could that mean? Let's just watch this video.
Shout out to the arc.
Wait, that is weird. Do you see this?
That's probably exactly how that person sounded and said.
What is that? Is that just maybe a weird little
it's like
Aurora Borealis? That kind of seems like it is, right?
You know what Casper would say? Wow, cool light.
Oh, it kind of looks like maybe a tiny Aurora Borealis? I don't know. That's really weird. It's like a weird glowing worm in the sky. All right, we'll move on.
All right, I got something good.
Okay, what do you got for us,
Okay, so
HP?
Yeah, we said earlier, I didn't know that this question was going to get asked.
Yes.
But this is my response to it.
I love it. How do we survive the great solar flare apocalypse?
Okay, so this is something, I feel like this was in, the first time that I heard about this, and I may be, wrong in remembering, but I think that they talk about this a little bit in the Hail Satan documentary.
Huh.
I think.
Okay.
Because that's part of the thing is that people, it's a monument.
And people are protesting.
And they think that and conservative America thinks that it is a satanic monument.
Right.
So I think that they might reference this in that documentary.
Okay.
But I might just be making that connection. But anyways, the Georgia Guidestones are in Elbert County, Georgia, and they're a large granite monument that was there from 1980 until 2022, when they were partially blown up and then just demolished. So they don't exist anymore. But they were 19 feet tall, 200 tons. People referred to it as the American Stonehenge at the time, which this whole thing made me realize how little I know about Stonehenge.
Okay.
Do you know much about how versed are you in Stonehenge lore?
Not a lot, because a lot of it I think is speculation. Yeah.
But that's just a full blind spot to me.
Okay.
It's I just always was they're just the fascinating part is how did they build them?
Mm-hmm.
But more interesting, and I guess, is how they are a clock.
Mm-hmm.
I guess. And I just didn't know that at all, like, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyways, so the Georgia Guidestones were built as a guide for post-apocalyptic humans to reestablish society after like a collapse.
Yes.
Is the idea. So the history of it is in 1979, a man with the fake name Robert C. Christian made contact with the Albertson Granite Fishing Company, and he said he was speaking for a small group of loyal Americans, and they wanted to build a large series of stone structures that could withstand catastrophic events.
Okay.
The like granite company basically gave them like the runaround, and what I in my life now that I am dealing with contractors know as the leave me alone estimate.
Sure.
Which is, we don't want to tell you no, but we'll do it for this insane amount.
Yes.
And so you say no to us.
Yes.
So they quoted them like something insane for them, and the group just went, sure.
Love it.
No problem.
Okay.
So they built it. I think that's really funny. The stones were supposed to be a compass, a calendar, and a clock.
Okay.
And then they would have guidelines to it's like supposed to be like the majority of people died. And now what's left is walking around and they come across these, and this is like how you reestablish society.
Okay.
So it's got 8 languages on it.
Whoa.
English, Spanish, Swahili, Hindi, Hebrew, Arabic, traditional Chinese, and Russian.
Huh.
All written on all the different sides of it, which were supposed to like represent like the languages that they assumed that most like
might survive.
Yeah.
Huh.
Aside from Hebrew, which is just like is not like a commonly spoke language, but would represent another, you know what I mean? Like that's what they were going for.
Totally.
And then so the inscriptions read, and these are the 10 things that were inscribed on them. On all these languages, each one of them, maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature.
Based.
Guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity.
Oh, no.
Unite humanity with a living new language. Rule passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason. Protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts. Let all nations rule internally, resolving external disputes in a world court. Avoid petty laws and useless officials. Shout out.
Love that.
Balance personal rights with social duties. Prize truth, beauty, love, seeking harmony with the infinite. Be not a cancer on the earth. Leave room for nature. Leave room for nature.
This is very interesting.
So those are the 10 things that this small group of loyal Americans decided were going to be the thing.
Okay, I got a little skeeved out at the beginning because of the population control and the reproduction stuff, but some of this sounds great.
I mean, it's just like so like hippie.
It's also
like,
very open-ended in some ways, you know.
The population control thing is the like, what is that based on? Limit 500 million. That's it. Cap. I
don't know.
And then so these are like the Guidestones.
Okay.
Like say this.
Okay.
And they're set up kind of in like a specific kind of surrounding, like they're like circular. Stonehenge is a great, like, if you think about what Stonehenge looks like, that's like similar. It's not exactly the same, but that's kind of what they look like. And then next to it, there is this explanatory tablet that has like some details about the Guidestones.
The manifesto tile, if you will.
Yes.
Just kidding.
So, well, kinda.
Kind of like Toynbee, right?
So it has additional text. One of the things that it does is it says how big they all are, what languages are on it. It says, let these Guidestones, let these be Guidestones to an age of reason. And then it says, astronomic features. Channel through stone indicates celestial pole. Horizontal slot indicates annual travel of sun. Sunbeam through capstone marks noontime throughout the year. Author R.C. Christian sponsors a small group of Americans who seek the age of reason. And then this is like an interesting part. It says time capsule placed 6 feet below this spot on blank to be opened on blank. So they didn't finish that.
Okay.
And when they were destroyed in the last couple of years, they didn't find time capsule.
Okay.
But that's saying that, like, that's like the compass calendar aspect of it, is the way that they oriented this. Those things written on the explanatory tablet are now explaining how to use it as, like they said earlier, where it's a compass, calendar, and a clock.
Okay.
So it's like different, the way that it was oriented and how the sun was going to go directly through it is, and through holes in it and light up certain parts.
Yeah, like a sundial.
Yeah.
Or the fifth element.
Like a slightly more complicated sundial.
Yeah.
But not necessarily a more effective one,
Sure.
as somebody says. So the 4 outer stones were oriented to mark the limits of the 18.6-year lunar declination cycle. The center column featured a hole drilled at an angle from one side to the other through which the North Star could be seen.
Wow.
The same pillar had a slot carved through it that was aligned with the sun's solstices and equinoxes. A 7/8 inch hole aperture in the capstone allowed a ray of sun to pass through at noon each day, shining a beam on the center stone indicating the day of the year. So that's like how it's supposed to work. However, astronomer Louis Magnani referred to these features as mediocre at best and sees them as an abacus compared to Stonehenge's computer.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So that's like all what
Yeah. I don't think these stones were made to resonate frequencies or be a place for ritual sites or things like this, the way that Stonehenge is like a charged place with like vortex energy. I am curious, are you going to get into why they chose this spot?
There's not that. Like there's
no
there's
reason?
all this kind of like mystery to it.
Okay.
Because it is just like a group that never really identified themselves.
Was it on private property?
So it was on government property owned by the government, and that's why they like upkept it. Like it was like the local government of this area.
Interesting. Okay.
When it was destroyed, they decided not to build it up again.
They meaning the small group of Americans.
No, like the local, like whatever county that it is that it was in, decided we're just gonna take control of this again and not do it.
Not rebuild.
So it was like a fenced-in thing that was kept up by the local,
right?
But because it's like a relatively small county, yeah.
Okay.
They initially planned to rebuild it. However, the county board decided that the remains of the monument were going to give back to the granite company that built it initially. They were just going to like donate the granite back to them so they could reuse it for something else. And then, the previous owners of the land, which I guess is not the city, whoever owned it previously, but it wasn't owned by the group. And the group, I think, like, is not even really like a thing that like this was like their only thing they did. You know, they weren't like, it wasn't like, to bring it back to what we talked about, like where the Church of Satan, for example, building the monument on state property, like it wasn't something like that. It was a group that kind of remained anonymous and is still kind of remained anonymous. Put this up and then has been somewhat silent about it since then.
Okay.
So that opens it up to conspiracy theories, right? Like.
Totally.
Yeah, like obviously, especially like in a relatively conservative area like of the country.
I mean, I think it's pretty common for people to react to anything benevolent with suspicion, especially when there's not a name tied to it.
It's not even like the benevolence of it. I think that it is like the worldliness of it, you know, like having it be in different languages and being like,
oh yeah,
you know,
tolerant.
like,
yeah.
That's like what really, so
For
like,
sure.
this is just like one of the, like it being referred to as the 10 Commandments of the Antichrist is a thing.
Yes, one of the 10 Commandments that the Antichrist once said was make sure to prize truth, beauty, and love and seek harmony with the infinite.
Yes.
Jeez, come on.
One of the more like things that I can a little bit understand, aside from this activist referring to it or saying they should be smashed into a million pieces and then the rubble should be used for a construction project,
Which it sounds like it was.
or that it's like some sort of new world order thing. Like I just don't know how you get to like Satanism or like the devil from like something that seems like it's supposed to like benefit like the like broader humanity. And I also feel like,
Well, the funny thing is that they're actually more right than they realize, because
Sure.
Satanists do believe in beauty and harmony and being one with nature and not preferring one group of people over another and all of this stuff. A lot of these tenets are very satanic tenets.
yeah,
For sure.
sure. So maybe they're right.
No, I don't think they did that on purpose at all. I think it's just ironic
Just so
that they're
happens.
actually right. Yeah. No, I don't think that was, I think when they say it's satanic, they mean it in, you know, the worst possible way. They
like,
think they're
it's-
sacrificing children on these guidestones or something, which is goofy.
But also like, when you think of like doomsday prepping or like end of the world stuff,
Uh-huh.
like, is that not a conservative concept, like, to you? Like somebody who is like a
I would say nowadays, yes.
fundamentalist,
Yes.
like,
Nowadays.
You know?
I feel like it not used to be.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but I feel like when I was a kid, it was like, maybe liberals, yes.
like
but
I'm
like,
talking about like guy on the corner with like repent,
oh yeah.
kind of
Totally.
like the day is coming,
Doomsday
the end
cult.
is near.
Yeah.
Like that is.
Like, yeah, portents of the end times. Totally.
Have you ever? There's a guy, I don't know quite where it is. I want to say that it's near Green Hills, that has like a massive, and he's there all the time. It has like a massive double sign and is wearing like a sandwich board. And he's
No.
always there. I have a good picture of it. I'll show it to you.
Okay.
I'm not going to pull it up right now, but
Okay.
he's around
So-
town. This is one, I'm not super familiar with all this, but near the end of this, they start referring to, it says RC Christian resembles
Yes.
Rose Cross Christian or Christian Rosicrucianism,
Yes, from the Rosicrucian order.
Yes.
Totally. Yes, absolutely.
and then compares it to Thomas Paine's The Age of Reason.
Ah.
So all that, like, I can see, you
yes,
know.
which we should say on air, Thomas Paine was a Rosicrucian.
Yes.
Wow, that's very interesting. That I don't know that Rosicrucianism, as far as I know, gets into things like population controlled thoughts like that. But some of this I do think does resonate with some of their tenets too. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
So that's,
So wait, what happened? What happened to them getting demolished
they just got demolished by a unknown vandal.
in the middle of the night? Like overnight.
Like 2 years ago.
So has there been any investigation?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing's like out there. Like there's not.
Whoa.
You can look up videos of them then getting torn down.
After
like
they're
after.
destroyed. Huh.
But
Wow.
Who knows?
Do they have any idea like how they got destroyed?
there was a small bomb placed around the
What?
area. Yeah.
Oh my
Like it was like
gosh.
intentional. Like there was.
Oh no, I knew it was intentional, but a
blown up.
bomb is scary. Like I was thinking, like I don't know, some guy came in with a crane or something.
Well,
a wrecking ball would be way more noticeable,
so,
but a
like,
bomb
the-
is scary.
The Baphomet statue
Yes.
was just like ran into by a guy.
Yeah.
But this was like fenced in.
Okay.
So there was like a break in and somebody like
Whoa.
planted a bomb and
That's
blew up
scary.
and like damaged it beyond repair.
Wow.
But yeah,
That is really interesting stuff. I want to know everything. And it's so interesting how we keep 2 weeks in a row coming up with these like sort of secret organizations that were like trying to do good for humanity, however, maybe mentally ill or misguided they may have been. I don't know. But they're like sort of anonymous, and there are these like grassroots operations trying to get some big message out to humanity. That's such an interesting thing that like this is really tying in beautifully with everything we talked about last week with Michael.
Ends up being kind of the theme of our season.
Well, I mean, not to bring it back to QAnon, aka QAnon is what they're calling.
Saying?
Well, that's what they're calling. That's everyone falling into the Kendrick Drake rabbit hole. I think it's hilarious.
Wow.
But not to get too QAnon, but I do think, you know, if things come to light that they are threatening are going to come to light, I do think that this could also be something that hugely impacts humanity. And I do think that there are people who are doing it for the right reasons. Mm-hmm. It's come out that like Kendrick Lamar apparently supposedly is secretly like been like donating to a lot of organizations that do stings against people committing like sex trafficking and like child abuse and stuff. So I don't know. It's like a whole other thing. But yeah, it's like, I don't know. Maybe that will end up being the theme of our season. This is an interesting thing coming up here. I like this. Wow. Very cool.
Well, yeah, I just been thinking about those. Thought it was cool.
No, that's so fascinating.
That's a cool, interesting thing.
I think I remember hearing when they got destroyed.
That's what I was thinking of, because like I was like, I know it came up somewhere where I was looking up something and I was like, I know what these are. Maybe it's because I read about them getting destroyed. Mm-hmm. But then I just like saw some like wild Twitter, like a random like thank God they got destroyed kind of deal, and like talking about. And it's like you can relate it to, there's like a tangential line between flat Earth theory and the Georgia Guidestones, and that how could that possibly always be synced up with the North Star unless the Earth is flat, and that's why they destroyed them.
Oh no!
Because it was.
Oh no!
that kind of stuff.
Yes, astronomy works because the Earth is flat.
So.
Wow. Okay.
That's what I was seeing, and I was like, "What?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's funny." Well, wow, that's really interesting. Thanks for sharing that. Georgia Guidestones. I'm wondering.
I wish I could have gone and seen them.
Yeah.
Like then that like.
Okay. Do you remember when there was like and I'm going to sound a little ignorant right now. I'm sorry. But I'm talking off the top of my head about things that I didn't know that well. But there was these big protests that were happening in like a state park. Right? Mm-hmm. And I feel like this all happened around the same time. And I wondered, it was like in Georgia because of
2022.
Was it either like there was like it was either like an oil thing where they were going to start like, you know, fracking in some public land, or it was like something they were protesting. And I think when I heard about these Guidestones getting destroyed, that I thought it was connected. So maybe there's something there. I don't know.
Maybe.
But
yeah, I'm not sure.
Very interesting stuff. Wow. Well, thanks for sharing, HP Hovercraft. Okay, so should we get into a news roundup before we leave?
What do you got?
All right. So this is actually inspired by our guest last week. Our producer, Michael Eads, came on. He did bring me a very intriguing YouTube video. We hoped to maybe get into it last week. We didn't. But I did find this very interesting article from earth.com that kind of summarizes a lot of what that video was trying to tell. So shout out to Michael for telling us about this story. I was not really keeping up with the science news lately, and this is really fascinating. So here we go, earth.com. K2-18b is an exoplanet that has recently captured the attention of astronomers due to the presence of intriguing DMS gas molecules in its atmosphere. So in September 2023, Niku Madhusudan, an astronomer at the University of Cambridge, announced a very intriguing discovery. Using the powerful James Webb Space Telescope, Madhusudan and his team detected the presence of a carbon-bearing molecule, including methane and carbon dioxide on the exoplanet. This discovery was added to other recent studies suggesting that the planet K2-18b could be a Hycean exoplanet, characterized by a hydrogen-rich atmosphere and a water-covered surface. So he said, their findings underscore the importance of considering diverse habitable environments in the search for life elsewhere. And traditionally, the search for life on exoplanets has focused primarily on smaller rocky planets, but these larger Hycean worlds are significantly more conducive to atmospheric observations. So all of this is to say that these initial Webb observations provided a possible detection of a molecule called dimethyl sulfide, or DMS, which is on Earth a molecule that is only produced by life, primarily by phytoplankton in marine environments. So the abundance of methane and carbon dioxide, along with the shortage of ammonia, support the hypothesis that K2-18b may have a water ocean underneath an hydrogen-rich atmosphere. It was a real shock. I had sleepless nights for weeks, said Dr. Madhusadan, recalling the moment when the analysis showed a possible hint of DMS. He said, I couldn't even muster the courage to break it to my own team. Because, yeah, you're going to sound insane. Yeah. I get it. Totally. It's so, just wild. I love it. So this presents numerous challenges. This signature of this molecule is difficult to distinguish from other compounds and can be masked by other gases. So seeing it in the atmosphere of K2-18b has significant implications for the search for extraterrestrial life. On Earth, DMS is only produced by biological processes, which makes it a compelling biomarker. The presence of DMS on the exoplanet's atmosphere suggests the possibility of marine life similar to phytoplankton. This is really exciting stuff here. So there is, a lot of upcoming work they're going to be doing to follow up all of this. They're going to be using a mid-infrared instrument spectrograph to hope to further validate their findings and provide new insights into the environmental conditions of K2-18b. But I'm very excited for what this means. I feel like we're inching closer to finding even phytoplankton on another place. And I just think that the level with which perspective maybe we could have on the universe if we actually had to admit that we're not the only planet with living life on it. I think that could be a really amazing thing for humanity to be confronted with. Terrifying, I'm sure, but also really cool.
Yeah. Would you be down to go to a new planet?
No. I'm not a colonizer.
Not at all?
No.
Yeah, but what if there's nobody there? What if it can sustain life?
How do you know there's not ghosts? How do you know there's not
ghost
beings that you can't see? I don't know.
Do you think that's what they said when when the colonizers were coming to America?
To America?
Maybe you can't see them. What if you can't see them?
Fair, yeah. They were like, no, that land's haunted.
Here's the scenario though. Fully inhabitable planet. Confirmed no life there. Mm-hmm. But you could live there.
You mean no humans? Because you mean marine life would exist, right? Or
no. I'm talking.
Well, why would a planet be habitable but not habited?
Don't know.
Fair enough, yeah.
Don't know.
If it wasn't habited, then yes, maybe I would go.
You'd go.
Maybe.
But if there's even
if there's one ghost, I'm out.
No ghosts.
Not one single presence.
Planet can't have ghosts.
I'm going to have to send a psychic up there to feel out the vibes,
what about it's got bugs and animals and things, but no you know what I mean?
I think morally.
No top dog.
You want to go be the top dog, HP? I love it. Although the implications of that word now are very strange to me because of, again, canon.
You're so deep.
I'm sorry.
So deep in it. I didn't expect. We talked about this last week.
I know.
And I didn't expect you to be deeper than I was.
I know. It's bad. I'm telling you. We have to do an episode. Anyway.
You got to get it out. That's what needs to happen.
Yeah. So well, I'll tell you.
You got to keep building the evidence and then.
I'm really trying not to overburden my husband with it. So I'm just glad I have some people who are sort of keeping up that I can talk to about it.
I'm it's funny. That's why we do this podcast together, because I do that to Abby and you do that to, I don't want to name them on
my husband.
air because it's not my right to do that. So.
Thank you. Appreciate that. I don't know if he wants me to say his name on air. I'll ask him and report back. I'm going to be honest, I've probably said it already.
Yeah, but they don't know that. They can't, are they going to track it down what times that you said it?
There's only 4 episodes to listen to, so maybe.
About to be 5. All right, let's end it.
All right. The end. Hey. Oh, wow. That sure was an episode, wasn't it?
Time to say farewell.
Thanks for listening to Dizzy Spell, you Dizzy Spellians. We're beaming in from We Own This Town Studios in Nashville, Tennessee. Special thanks to John Childers for the sound bed music you hear all throughout our episodes. And thanks to our editor and producer, Michael Eads, and our podcast network, We Own This Town, for hosting us. Thank you to Mac Burrus for editing this episode, and to Victoria Ocampo for our logo and design. You can follow us on Instagram at Dizzy Spell Radio, and please leave us a review on your preferred streaming source. 5 is the magic number. 5 magic beans, please.
It's the only one that you should put. You shouldn't put anything else. It's like exactly what it's like when you order Uber Eats or DoorDash or something. Anything that 5 is detrimental.
We make 5 stars. 5 or dive.
5 or dive.
All right.
That's what I've always said.
Later, Earthlings.
See ya.